Hi, welcome back. It's been a minute. Walkers, one of the cornerstones of Star Wars vehicles, as impractical as they would actually be. One of them being one of the most iconic, amazing, spectacular,
talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique
sci-fi ships to be ever seen on the big screen, the AT-AT. But we're not talking about that one today. Today, I'm going to showcase my take on one of the shitty ones, the AT-PT, or All-Terrain Personal Transport. A what? Basically a mix between an AT-RT and an AT-ST. And it sucks. But I also love it. Where's it from? It appeared in a game, or two, and in a book or something. Who cares? You're here for the MOC, so let's just take a look at the thing already. But before we do that, I'll point out that since the AT-PT has very limited canon appearances, none of which are in films or TV, I took some creative liberties with the design, but also mostly used these two images as reference while creating the model. This one more specifically, though the first one is probably the most common appearance associated with this walker. Now let's start with the ship in comparison to a figure. And now we can get up close and personal, and I'll point out some of my favorite details about this model. First, with one of my favorite pieces Leica has ever introduced, the ingot piece. One of the greatest parts for creating subtle details that normal tiles wouldn't do justice for, but more elaborate pieces like the grill piece would be too much for. You can basically see me use this in every single one of my builds at least once, because I love it. The piece has also allowed me to capture this angle in the lower legs while still being able to maintain durability, which a cheese slope, my original idea, would not have allowed for. Speaking of the lower legs, here I can point out that these yellow 1x2 tiles should be printed with the black and yellow danger pattern, which I unfortunately only own in the 1x4 variant. The instructions that we'll talk about later have incorporated this change, as well as a few other minor changes that I was personally not able to make. Moving up the leg to the topmost ratcheted joint, we have another one of my favorite parts uses, the upside down jumper plate, more specifically the most recent version of the jumper. It works great again for more subtle details, like this center beam / armor cover on this joint. I also want to point out this tiny speck of color I added, directly taken from this image of the walker. The main joint and connection point of the leg to the rest of the ship I built using this relatively new recessed round brick, creating the darker center using a dark bluish gray dish piece. I think this captures the look of the real thing perfectly, and I'm very happy about the way it turned out. Moving on to the front of the ship, we'll take a look at the three weapons this guy is equipped with. First, the main dual blasters, which I built using this newest weapon hilt, or as it's called in the LEGO Star Wars community, the Darth Maul lightsaber hilt piece. The twinsies can be angled up and down, as well as rotated around 360 degrees. Whether or not this is actually accurate to the in-universe thing, I don't know. The grenade launcher attached to the chin of the ship is simply built using a good old regular cone piece. On the roof of the ship, we can find more of my favorites, the ingots, as well as these two roller skates in flat silver here at the back. Another one of my favorite pieces to use for detailing. Here we can also now gain access to the interior by opening up the front of the roof. Due to how narrow this ship is, accessing the interior only from the top is quite difficult, so you can also easily remove one of the side panels for easier access. There's nothing much to the interior apart from this console for the driver, who is attached only with one of these panels with a center divider, making it easier to remove them without getting them ripped in half. Now that we've taken a good look at the thing's features, I want to point out some of the flaws and shortcomings I wasn't able to overcome, such as stability or more specifically posability. Though the legs of the model seem highly posable, which is true, the pose that it's currently standing in is the only one it can hold without external support, and even in this pose, placing it down may cause it to collapse in on itself sometimes. Now that may have something to do with wear on the joints, and when you get it to stand it'll do so just fine, but that's something you have to be careful with. The ankles of the model are also only attached by two studs, making it easy to accidentally bend them off when posing them. Speaking of, for more dynamic poses, I quickly put together this clear stand to allow the model to be placed in somewhat of a convincing walking pose. Also, yes, the model is too big and the legs are too small. I know. Thanks for the engagement anyway. Appreciate it. And that does it for my take on the AT-PT. But don't go anywhere yet, because I have something really cool to show you. But before that, if you wish to build this model for yourself, you can do so by getting the digital instructions I have created for it from my Rubricable page, How to 5, also linked at the top of the description. I have tested the instructions for myself to make sure you get as enjoyable and clear a building experience as possible. Purchasing instructions to my model helps me out a ton, so if you have or intend on doing so, I appreciate you very, very much. Now, a little teaser for something I've been cooking up for the past week-ish. Pretty cool, huh? We'll see if I'm actually able to fully build it IRL or if I have to finish it in studio, which would be quite unfortunate since I prefer designing models by hand as far as possible. But with that, I thank you for watching this showcase. More like this one on my other MOCs, as well as reviews of official sets are on the way, so if you enjoyed this, then be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next one. Also, become a member for extra perks, that's the join button. And that's that, so thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Stay tuned. Alright,